This was not a Spider-Man movie. This was a dark, toxic chick flick disguised as a Spider-Man movie. Whoa! Gen Zen. Hey everybody, if you want to know the name of the guy that's going to receive your pitchforks and your torches, my name is Jim. Welcome to Gen Zen Reviews. Now, I saw the new Spider-Man, brand new day, and quite frankly, I think I hated it. I left the theater after all the spectacle and after all the cool action scenes, feeling the movie was wanting and I couldn't put my finger on it. And it finally hit me. The direction that they took the characters was shit. Now, this movie, believe it or not, is actually well written. The dialogue is great. You will never convince me that Zendaya can't act. She did a fantastic job in this movie. Punisher was funny. The dynamic between the characters was great. There was a couple of extra characters that didn't need to be there. They didn't overstay their welcome. Now, what's so terrible about this movie that I personally am so pissed off? This movie completely shits all over the legacy of the X-Men, in particular, Jean Grey. Well, let me give you spoilers so you know what I'm talking about.
There's a company called Damage Control that supposedly takes all these villains and their equipment and tries to rehabilitate them. At least that's the story. But they're constantly being attacked by some mysterious force. And we find out that this mysterious force is controlling people mentally and trying to attack the company. And Spider-Man befriends the Damage Control people to try to find out who it is. It's actually Jean Grey. This company, Damage Control, actually kidnapped her sister and did experiments on them. She finds out that they kidnapped her and they actually killed her and she wigs the fuck out.
Right? There you go. There's three main plots with this movie. One, we have this whole plot with Spider-Man for making a whole bunch of dumb mistakes in the last movie and nobody can remember him. So basically his love interest has amnesia. That is not an exciting plot for a superhero action movie. That is a plot you take from a 1980s soap opera. I was sitting there, it was okay. It was heartfelt, it was nicely done. Every woman in the theater was like, oh, no, you can't do that. Oh my God. They were eating this up, but I was not. And neither were any of the men around me. So I was like, this is a chick flick. This is not a superhero flick. You know what I mean? The second story plot was Spider-Man losing control of his powers. He couldn't control his web, right? He was stressing out. His senses were going over the top. It looked like his mutation was just taking control of him and turning into something dark. I thought that they were going to replicate the Spider-Man cartoon, the 90s cartoon, where Peter Parker eventually is going to turn into this big, horrible, multi-limbed monster with this gross-ass head, and Punisher was going to have to stop them. That would have been fucking epic. They didn't do that. All they did was basically he just had to, I don't know, come into his power or get over his stress or whatever, and it was just over like that. What a fucking letdown. What the fuck was that? You know what I mean? It was stupid. And then the final one, the biggest crime. The use of Jean Grey is an absolute travesty. I do not know why all these nerd reviewers are not fucking pissed off at this. I'm seeing that a lot of nerds who watch this movie, they're kind of circling the drain. I am here to drag you in the toilet, into the shit, okay? Because you people should be pissed about this, right? She is the compassion of the team. She is the heart of the team. And here she is, basically a murdering sociopath. How are they going to rectify this when they introduce the X-Men? How are they going to justify that? It's a disgrace. How are we supposed to love this character going forward, knowing that she's basically, she's just as bad as the Punisher? Now, in comparison to the comic book, when she was introduced in X-Men #1, she is a calm, collected, mature, sensible teenage girl who knows how to handle pressure. And the thing of it is that she didn't even have to do any of that. She didn't have to control anybody's mind or kill anybody, but they chose to go down that path. She could have just controlled the mind or read the mind of the leader of Damage Control and just find out what happened to her sister. And then just, I don't know, force him to go to the cops and turn himself in. Or the very worst, just mind erase him. The writers chose to turn her into that. It's that same pattern where, we have a lot of these female heroes, all these female figures throughout Disney, throughout Marvel, who can commit the most heinous acts of evil. And because they're just going through some emotional stress, they're just forgiven. And at the end of the movie, she finally telekinetically captures the leader and is attempting to kill him by levitating shards of glass to do like that. And they try to, Spider-Man comes along and tries to say, oh, come on, Gene, you're not a killer. Was he not in the movie that I just saw where she just killed all these people? She killed a whole bunch of guards. And then there was another scene where she controls the Incredible Hulk, uses the Hulk to attack Spider-Man. A huge portion of the building they're in collapses outward. He catches all the debris from falling on the people and webs it to the Incredible Hulk. And Hulk is like trying to pull himself out to keep from falling out of the building. So eventually he does. Slams onto the ground. There's cops down there. There's innocent people down there. We have no idea how many people died down there, right? And in the Avengers, they were showing them tapes during the battle for New York City when Hulk was fighting those aliens. They showed him a clip of him jumping on buildings, debris falling, and killing innocent people. So Jean Grey could have just did that again. It was ridiculous. And it was those three main story plots that made up the whole movie. There was no decent villain, really. I mean, Damage Control, they were pretty lame. Like, how many times have we seen that whole thing with an evil corporation chasing, the superpowered innocent people? We've seen that for decades, right? I think the first time I saw it was like in a movie called Scanners. Watch that movie. Much better movie. Where like this dark government agency was trying to chase down these telepaths. Watch that. That's a much better movie. This is another movie where they talk about freaking trauma. I am so sick of these writers working for Marvel and Disney thinking they're psychiatrists. I am sick of this pseudo-intellectual, amateur, psychiatric bullshit. You people are not psychiatrists. You don't know what you're talking about. If you were a psychiatrist and you knew what you were talking about, you wouldn't have this girl killing all these people and then talking about, oh, you just need to work through your trauma. No, Jean Grey belongs in fucking jail now. She's not a hero. What are you doing? So this movie is definitely, it's going to do gangbusters. It's going to make billions. It's probably going to make $1 billion. Easy. 900 at least. So this is just my opinion. Jean Grey was destroyed before we even saw the X-Men. All right. So my name is Jim. This has been Gen Zen. I will be dodging all your pitchforks and your fire if you even click on this video. Signing off.